We're going to start today, Joe, in the association. The NBA, 3 games tonight, 7 o'clock. Fantastic. 7:30, even better. 10 o'clock, ridiculous. But let's get to the first game here, Joe. The Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons. The Magic are on the road, and now it appears that they can close out the Pistons. They've been much better than the Pistons over the series. But, Joe, if we look at the line, -9.5. Up to 10.5 at some outlets as a favorite for the Detroit Pistons. Total in this game, low, of course, to 11.5. It's closeout time for the Magic, or do the Pistons rise up at home and say, nope, we're sending this bad boy back to Disney, Joe? What's the spread line for the Magic and the Pistons?
Listen, it's very hard for me to wrap my head around the idea that the Magic are going to lose Game 5 by double digits against this offense of the Pistons. It's quite obvious, Donny, that Orlando defensively is set up and it's just a terrible matchup for the Pistons, who have no real three-point shooter, and outside of Cade Cunningham can't generate any offense. They're being out-rebounded. They're being pushed around. This is a problem. Now, Franz Wagner is injured here. He did hurt his calf towards the end of Game 4. He hasn't been ruled out yet, but you watch that status, because he's obviously a big part of what the Magic do. I say to heck with the side, Donnie. This is a first one to 100 wins, 105 at that. There is no way I'm looking at overs in this series, given what we've seen offensively from these two teams.
Pistons are really bad right now in the series. They're down 3-1. They're getting hammered on a night-to-night basis. They're favored by 9.5, and only about 20% of the public betting those Detroit Pistons, Joe. This might appear in about an hour and a half here when we get to bye. Let's keep it moving, people. Toronto, Cleveland, 2-2 series. Back to Cleveland they go. This line opened up at 9.5, Joe. It's backtracked a little bit. You see the graphic? -8.5 now as a favorite towards the Cleveland Cavaliers, the home team tonight, in a total of 215.5. Who gets that big Game 5 tonight, Joe? Give us a spread line here.
I mean, what in the world? Watching Game 4, Donnie, might have set basketball back 100 years with how terrible. I've seen more air balls in one NBA game, in a playoff NBA game, nonetheless, that it was gross. It was gross on so many levels, what we just watched. But give the Raptors defense credit. They have certainly not allowed James Harden or Mitchell, or anybody else for that matter, to have their way. So now it's 2-2. Series doesn't start until somebody wins a game on the road, right? I anticipate the Cavs will probably make it look rather easily, only then to look gross in Toronto in Game 6 and have a Game 7, Donnie. And that's the way I'm going to play this, because at this point, I don't trust either offense to score enough to get us anywhere close to either a cover or an over here.
Let's get over to the Houston Rockets taking on the Los Angeles Lakers as we go back to L.A. The L.A. Lakers looking to close out the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant not expected to play once again tonight, but Austin Reaves for the Lakers, Joe. Game time decision expected to play here. We take a look at these lines opening up around that 2.5 frame. Now we're seeing the graphic at -4.5 as a favorite towards the Lakers at home. Lowest total on the board tonight, 208.5. Rockets, Lakers, Joe. What's the spread line out west?
Well, good news, right? Reaves is, if he does go, the question is, how healthy is he going to be? We already know he wasn't a very good defender to begin with, so the offense of the Lakers likely to get better. The defense likely to get worse here, Donnie. You mentioned it. No Durant here, but we just saw this Houston offense finally be able to put it together here for a little bit. And, listen, you're going to have to score, and the Lakers are going to have to score more than 100 points. And if they do, I think this thing goes flying over the total here. I think Reaves is a difference maker offensively, but at the same time, I think they're going to give up more points in this one to Houston as well. So I like the over in this spot.
Let's go back to the association, Joe, get the people an update on the playoff bracket. Yes, the Spurs finally advanced, first time since 2017. Winners of a playoff round. The Knicks take a commanding 3-2 series lead over the Atlanta Hawks, and those Philadelphia 76ers went on the road, Joe, and took down the Boston Celtics. Embiid, looking like MVP Embiid with a monster fourth quarter of defense by the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, in Boston, very impressive. Heading
Crazy.
back to Philly, it's the first time that we've seen it. Kind of felt like turning the clock back with Embiid yesterday. Don't forget, 19 days ago he was having an appendectomy, and now all of a sudden he's out there and dragging the Sixers into another game with the Celtics here. Impressive stuff, but. We mentioned it yesterday, Donny. History tells us, you know what happens when Boston plays their food, what happens the next game. Yeah, this could be interesting.
Yeah, and by the way, who would have told me before the series? Like, hey, by the way, the Sixers would already have 2 road wins in Boston. I said, you know what? They probably won the series. Ooh. Still not looking good for them, but a chance at home to get to a game number 7 here. By the way, big game in the Garden last night. Brunson was fantastic. Let's get some post-game clips here.
To go from the 2 one-point losses to these 2 pretty decisive victories, just what does it tell you about your team's response to adversity?
They're resilient, and we talked about it throughout the course of the year. You got to go through some adversity throughout the course of the year to see what you're made of as a group, see how you're going to respond, and you just got to keep fighting. And our guys have been through a lot so far this year. And they continue to go through it, but they've been through it as a group, and there's nothing that will deter the group. They're a veteran group that knows what they want and how to go get it, no matter what's in front of them.
Well, they did what they were supposed to do, protecting home court, and we were never their defense. Never really let us establish, consistently how we need to play to beat them. And we have to be more committed to it's really like imposing your will.
Quinn Snyder looked like he's going through it a little bit right there. It is what it is in the NBA, high-pressured playoff scenarios. But the one thing that you do like, Joe, is you want to have your best players available here. Well, Minnesota, Anthony Edwards down a minimum, Joe, of 2 weeks. Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, it was not good at all. I mean, listen, if they can get past Denver, which is unlikely, but if they can, I mean, they do have a 3-game-to-2 edge here heading back home. If they can somehow watch Denver shoot themselves in the foot, he could very well be back for the next round, Donny. So that's good news for Minnesota. The problem is, can you weather this storm? It's going to be an uphill battle.
It is uphill battle, maybe even tonight, Joe, for Orlando Magic forward Franz Wagner here has been diagnosed with a right calf strain, and his availability for game number 5 against the Pistons is uncertain and will depend on treatment tonight. Dr. Donny says, Joe, he's out tonight. What do you say?
Yeah, it didn't look good. I'll tell you that when it happened. Didn't look good.
Hot Topics is what we do best. It's how we get down in the early line and the SportsGrid Network. Donny Rightside, Joe Raineri. Let's welcome in Kevin Walsh, host of Game Time Decisions right here on the network, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, with Gabriel Morency as we look at some hot topics that start. Kevin, I want to ask you first, how you doing? And then get right into, what are we thinking about this new draft lottery, huh?
Yeah, it's awful. I'm good, thank you. It's bad. It's like really, really bad. It ignores pretty much, all of reality. The new idea that here's the thing. They're like, oh, you have to punish people who are trying to lose. Okay, you are also going to lead to more teams trying to lose. Okay, fine. Maybe teams won't want to win 19 or 20 basketball games, but now being the 8th worst team in the league seems pretty great. So maybe it won't be as egregious as some of the things we've seen from a Utah or a Washington, but it's still going to be bad. I've said to you guys, I would just do what the NFL does. Stop this lottery nonsense. Allow teams to, when they are bad, just be awful. Like we do the NFL mock drafts. Everyone loves them. We bet the NFL draft. Everyone loves it. We're like 3 weeks away from finding out the NBA draft order. Nobody knows what it is. But really, if this is where we are, and this is how worried you are about everything, just get rid of the draft. I've heard people call for this before. I've always hated the idea. I enjoy the NBA draft. I think they're fun. But if this is, just get rid of the draft. Get rid of it and let basically the rookies be free agents entering into the league. That'll stop the tanking right away.
Yeah, but that would be the easy thing, Kev. We don't want to do that. And again, I'm still hoping the basketball gods. I don't know. You're putting a Band-Aid on open heart surgery. Just make it real simple here, guys. If you stink, do it. To me, this whole new rule, the last week of the regular season, you're going to have that group of teams that were tanking all year, trying to win games just so they can elevate themselves and get 3 ping pong balls. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, Kev, but they created this monster by making. How else are you supposed to rebuild the team with these salary cap rules now? How else are you supposed to do it other than through the draft?
No, that is the thing. Like, people get frustrated, and then you look at, as you mentioned, Oklahoma City and San Antonio, where listen, there were also some, smart moves made along the way. I'm not saying that there weren't, but the Oklahoma SGA spent his first 3 or 4 seasons in OKC as the most injury-prone player in basketball. He's fine, right? Like, it's amazing how that works, right? It totally misses the mark, and it's I don't know, it's a little like scary to see, because it honestly does feel like their solutions are going to be the worst case scenario of them keeping it the way it is. People like Donny say the NBA regular season is terrible, but who cares? No one's watching Wizards basketball anyway. Nobody's watching the Jazz anyway. So now you're just going to throw other things in complete disarray, where then in the lottery, you end up with the Warriors winning it, and you're like, oh, whoops. Or is that what they want? Like, that's what I don't understand.
Let me ask you a question on this, Kevin, because like the way the sport is structured sometimes doesn't make sense. Like, hey, if I don't vote you on a all-NBA team, you can't make enough money. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, maybe my value is higher. But also I always think about, like, in the NFL, if you are Patrick Mahomes is a free agent, and let's just say the Miami Dolphins go, we will pay you more money than anybody's ever paid you. And Kansas City's like, hey, we got cap restraints, we can't do it. You know where Mahomes goes? To the Miami Dolphins. The NBA has this max contract structure, which means once we get that level, nobody can offer more. So I was talking to Joe earlier saying, well, if that means that I can go to Los Angeles or go to Milwaukee, the same money, everybody's going to choose LA at this point, which favors those franchises. But if LA's like, we can offer LeBron James 50, and the Warriors the Milwaukee is like, we can give him 85. Well, then he's going to go there. Like, why do we have these cap restraints on saying you can only make a certain amount of money, and it sort of locks you into saying, like, well, 6 teams can offer the same amount? It would be different, Kevin, if one team could offer way more than those teams.
Yeah, but also we have a league that thought they needed to put restrictions in. That way small markets could compete. And now you've got a dynasty building in Oklahoma City that may have to get blown up because of these same stupid cap restrictions and aprons and all this other nonsense that they've created. So that's another issue. But apparently, is this league who's so concerned? By the way, how about the NBA? I saw someone mention this. It was a great point. The NBA playoffs, I think, have been pretty good for the most part. And I understand why we just did 80% of it, not this entire segment, talking about basically the Wizard, Jazz, and Nets. Because this league thinks that should be a topic of conversation right now. If you want to fix a problem, shrink the schedule so we stop losing superstars every single round. It's so poorly ran right now.
Yeah, well, but all right. Speaking of poor, Detroit has to try to stave off elimination here tonight. Can we trust, from what you've seen, can we trust them to win by double digits tonight?
So what's interesting is I don't think Franz Wagner plays. Could be wrong, but
he's out.
I feel like calf strains in the NBA today are the most I feel like, Donny, they're even worse than the hamstring, because it's like, no, this might ruin my career if I play on a bad calf. And it's 9.5. If you think about earlier on in this series, these numbers were about 8.5, 9.5. So it says to me that the books wanted to adjust this number based off what they've seen. But now with the Franz injury, desperate Detroit, we've kind of pushed this number back up. But this is also a Magic team who have played a lot of basketball without Franz Wagner this season.
By the way, quickly, Kevin, Rockets, Lakers tonight, 4.5-point spread. Who gets the win and cover, or does it get extended?
I think the Lakers get it done, but I'm very curious to see if Austin Reaves gets inserted into that starting lineup. Would obviously
Game time decision, OB. Catch game time decisions tonight. For me tonight, I'm going to the association. I gave you the Sixers last night. They got boxed by 30-plus points at home, going on the road. Nobody wanted to take them yesterday. I took the 11.5. They won the game outright. Now, tonight, Orlando Magic, Detroit Pistons. Magic are the better basketball team right now. They're up 3-1. You got a spread of 9.5 on the Pistons? Who the heck is taking that stupid wager? Only 20% of the public. You know who's going to take this stupid wager? Your boy DRS. We're laying the 9.5. Why? Not because I'm going to watch the game, because I won't, but I'm going to win this bet because nobody wants to take the Pistons. I'm taking the Pistons, and Joe, we're going 2-0 again. PME's coming up next. I'm going to calm down and let the people go. We'll be right back. It's your Market's Edge right here on the early line. Love to see it on a Wednesday. It's time to get involved in a little NBA action tonight with a triple header. We'll talk some Major League Baseball as well as a monster game in my hometown of Philadelphia. We like to bring it to the people. I'm Donny Rightside. It's Joe Raineri, and these topics are good. Why? Because we're investing in markets, Joe, from a stock market mentality. Love to see it.
Listen, there is plenty of opportunities here in these markets, especially during the postseason, Donnie, where we had favorites going down 3-1, like Edmonton last night, who ended up winning. And boy, you could have gotten them at a ridiculous price in the predictive markets in just one win, Donnie. So we have that coming up again tonight. So some pretty fun markets to discuss here.
What they have in the Wolf of Wall Street? Investor Center, Joe, selling off the pink sheets. Not what we're doing here, people. Completely legal and with Kalshi. Let's have some fun and dip into it in the NBA. The Magic and the Pistons are going to take place tonight in Motown, 7 p.m. start. The brink of elimination for the Detroit Pistons. If they lose this game, Joe, they go home as the 1 seed versus the 8 seed. I don't think that's happening tonight. And by the way, on the predictive markets, they don't think that's happening either. Why? Detroit to win this game outright, Joe, currently at a 76% chance. The contract to the yes is at 77 cents, which means a $100 investment on the Pistons just winning this game pays back $130. If you feel the Pistons can win this game roughly by double digits, that's currently trading at 48 cents, which means a $100 investment pays back $209. Backs against the wall in Motown. Pistons and the Magic tonight, Joe.
So a lot is going to be made about whether Franz Wagner can play or not play. But quite honestly, Franz Wagner's got absolutely nothing to do with what the Magic are doing defensively to disrupt Jalen Duren and his pick-and-roll partner here, Cade Cunningham, because there is a reason why the turnovers are through the roof. There is a reason why Jalen Duren can't get out of his own way, because he can't get easy dunks. They are basically the Magic throwing everything they have to disrupt Duren, and it's quite obvious that Cade Cunningham in Detroit has no answer for what to do here. So, as much as I want to look at a side, I'm not comfortable laying that many points, Donnie, here, but I am comfortable, it feels like, in looking at maybe an under, because some things are not going to change. The offense of Detroit is still bad, and the Magic got a little worse offensively if Wagner doesn't go. So, yeah, to me, I think the unders across the board and fading Jalen Duren's point prop is the way to look.
Big-time players got to step up in big-time games. We're talking about UK Cunningham. 30-plus points tonight on the Kalshi Marketplace. Show that a $100 investment will pay back $213 tonight. Double-digit favorites here for the Detroit Pistons. We'll see if they can get the job done here. Let's take a look at the Raptors and the Cavaliers. A 7:30 start tonight and a 2-2 series. And as well as best of 3 now, games 5, 6, and 7. We'll see where it goes. If we are taking a look at this game itself, to win it outright, Joe, Cleveland currently trading on the Kalshi Marketplace at a 75% chance to win that game. A $100 investment on the Cavaliers winning outright pays $132. If you feel the underdog Toronto Raptors, who've been really good this series, can win this outright, a $100 investment, Joe, that payback $400 tonight. Raptors, Cavaliers.
Yeah, I mean, listen, experience matters in the postseason, Donny, and we've talked about it. We just watched the New York Knicks in a pivotal Game 5 at home. We saw what experience can do for you. Well, that's what Donovan Mitchell brings to the table in this Cavs team. They have been here and done this before, coming off one of the worst games, basketball games on both sides I have ever seen. But we've seen Donovan Mitchell in Game 5s in Cleveland before, and he usually dominates them, Donnie, because he understands what's going on here. And I think you're going to see another big Donovan Mitchell game here tonight to elevate the Cavs at home. I'd look at his points and look at going up and over. 26.5, I think, is his point prop. You want to talk about a 30-plus point game? This is the kind of game Donovan Mitchell will have tonight.
How about this next game here? Rockets and the Lakers. Late night tonight, 10 o'clock start in L.A. Los Angeles wins. They move on. If the Rockets wins, they extend this series. They won't have Kevin Durant tonight, but the bigger question for the Lakers is game time decision. Great show here on the network, 6 to 7 p.m. But also understand that Austin Reaves expected to be back in the lineup. We'll find out a little bit later today. If we're looking at the Kalshi marketplace, a 62% chance, Joe, that Los Angeles is going to win this game outright, which a $100 investment would pay back $159. If you feel the Lakers can win by 4+ points, that's currently trading right now, Joe, at 54 cents to the yes. A $100 investment pays back $186. Rockets and Lakers, Tinseltown, Game 5 tonight.
Yeah, so I would look at the series market and I would bet the Houston Rockets right now. Because if the Houston Rockets win this game here tonight, Donnie, then I can assure you whatever it is that you can grab the Rockets for right now, which is really what? I mean, pennies on the dollar, I believe. I'm looking at 12 cents right now, Donnie. You can get the Rockets to win the series. Yeah, that is going to get much better if they win this game and then have to go back for another game in Houston, which is exactly the way I would play this, because I think Houston has an absolute shot at winning this game and extending this series.
Alperen Şengün, game number 1, 19 points. Game number 2, 20 points. Game number 3, 33 points. Game number 4, 19 points. If you feel he scores 25 or more points tonight, Joe, a $100 investment there on a player prop would pay back $244.